Are you feeling like life is just slowly passing you by with nothing to offer? Do you feel like you're having an existential crisis at the age of 23? Do you feel like the job market has no job for you and the degree you just spent hundreds of thousands on? Are you talking to plants because you don't know what else to do? Quarantine got you down, and you just feel like you must get out of America and travel and discover the world. Well, this is the right place, the right time to know how to move abroad by 2022. What's up guys, it's Team I and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about 5 ways that you can move abroad by 2022. So, have you ever lived abroad? Because I have. I actually currently live abroad. I'm a student here in Vienna, Austria, but I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I have also lived in 2 other countries, which were in Spain and in Poland, and I've done all of that through study abroad programs and by choosing to do my master's degree here in Vienna. But there are also ways outside of the education system for you to be able to move abroad successfully and also not at an extremely high price. But since it is my experience about study abroad as well as coming over to do a full degree program, that is what we're going to be talking about first. So the first way that you can move abroad by 2022 is to apply for a bachelor's program, a master's program, or a Ph.D. program. These are all amazing options that allow for you to discover the world around you as well as study at a significantly cheaper price than it is to study in the US. So a bachelor's degree overseas is normally between 3 to 4 years, and a master's is 2 years, and sometimes the PhD programs range from about 3 years to 6 years. And so if you're interested in this option, also just know it is a lot more of a long-term option than some of the other options that I'm going to be suggesting. So there's a lot of benefits, like I said, to doing a full program abroad. Number 1 is the financial investment. Right now, I pay 1,000 euros a year to go to my university. Yes, I did say that right. 1,000 euros a year. And this is for my master's program here in Austria. I actually paid about 64,000 plus was like the cost of attendance to attend Syracuse University, and that was over a 4-year period. Thankfully, I had a grant, but I'm still in a significant amount of student loan debt. So I really did not want to take out loans again going into school. And since I'm studying history, this is a specific field that I can actually do abroad. I think it's really important for you to look into the specific discipline that you're interested in studying, because not all disciplines you can study abroad. I know a good example of that is law. If you want to be someone that practices law, maybe you don't want to do your law degree overseas. But maybe if you want to do a specialization program for law, so like human rights law, international law, etc., that is actually something that you could study overseas. But I do suggest, especially for people that want to do the social sciences, specifically in undergrad, to look into doing different programs overseas because they're significantly cheaper. And especially if you're thinking about moving on to a master's degree program or a PhD program, it actually looks really great to have some type of international experience. It looks really unique on your curriculum vitae applying in the future. And even if you decide not to go on to a graduate program, having an international experience or being like, hey, I actually studied in London, or I actually studied in Spain, or I actually studied in Costa Rica or Bermuda for college, that stands out, especially when you're applying for jobs. So I do think that people should absolutely look into long-term studying overseas. It's an experience that I've enjoyed so far. And yeah, like I can keep you guys updated on that experience as well. So that was really loud. That's how the ambulances sound in this country. It's very different. For people that are not really interested in such a long-term option, but they want to dip their feet in moving abroad, another way to do that as a student is to study abroad through your college or university, or through a program that is specific for people that enrolled in college. I know that the price tag on study abroad programs can also be really, really high, which is why a lot of students end up not going to study abroad. But there are options to fund your abroad programs, and that is by talking to your financial aid office at your university and explaining your specific situation. You can also go to your department specifically, which is something that a lot of students do not think about, is actually going to your department and asking them for the money to study abroad, especially if it's a program that fits your area of study. Or going to the study abroad office itself to ask about specific grants for different programs, because some universities will actually give specific funding to specific programs. So maybe you can actually choose that program over another program that doesn't receive funding for students to actually study abroad for that program. Another way that you can receive funding is through outside external scholarships for university students that are interested in studying abroad. And there's hundreds of them that you can apply for and actually get. One of the most notable ones are the Gilman scholarship, which is actually a fully paid scholarship to study abroad, which I know 2 people personally that have actually gotten the Gilman scholarship. And like I mentioned before, another way that you can study abroad is through an external program outside of your university. So one of those programs there's a lot of different programs funded by the US government specifically, as well as other countries that actually invite students to study abroad in their countries. One of them notably is the Critical Source Language Scholarship, which is a program where you can actually intensively learn another language, and it's fully funded by the US government. And there's also just different universities and different countries that have hosting programs wanting to attract international students, and they will fully pay for you to go to their countries just to study. Like, they'll pay you to study. Your flights, your housing, all of that. So if you want to learn more about those opportunities, the links are in my bio as well. So the third way that you can actually go abroad, especially in the age of COVID, is through a remote work visa. A lot of people's jobs have transitioned to online. I'm actually working remotely from a company in the United States right now, right here in Austria, which is how I actually am able to afford to live here, in addition to the scholarship that I received from my university. And so there's a lot of countries that actually specifically offer remote work, remote work visas. And so some of those countries include Barbados, Mexico, Portugal, and a few other countries as well. I actually linked a specific article in my in the description here that explains 18 different countries that allow for you to apply for a remote work visa. And so when it comes to remote work, there are 2 ways that I can think personally to be able to have a remote job in order to be eligible to apply for these visas. One is asking the current company that you work at if it's a possibility that you can work from home and you've been working from home, actually requesting, hey, like, I know the offices may be opening back up, but I would like to continue to work remotely. And you can also, if they agree to that, you can move abroad and work remotely that way. Another way that people do it is through this process of becoming a digital nomad. So like finding specific ways to stream your own income. So people do freelancing, people do travel writing, people do IT services from home, people do just a bunch of different services from themselves. And I'm going to link a video in the description to describe ways in which you can become basically a self-employed person and be able to work remotely. That will also make you eligible for many of these visas as well. So I think that's especially a great option because so many of us are now used to working from home, and we have realized that you do not have to be in the office to do a lot of the things that we do in the office. So yeah. The fourth way that you can go abroad is actually by teaching English abroad. This is a very, very good option, and a lot of people take advantage of it, but not enough people actually know about the opportunity to simply be able to teach English in so many different countries. You can really go anywhere, especially if you already have a bachelor's degree under your belt, to teach English abroad. And a lot of these programs cover your housing, give you a food stipend, give you a living stipend, and also just pay you in addition to that. Countries that are really popular for teaching English abroad is in Korea. Dubai is very popular. The UAE specifically is very popular. Japan's very popular. China is super, super, super popular to to teach English abroad. And it's very easy actually to secure a TEFL or TOEFL certificate. It actually can be done online, which makes you even more attractive for different programs that you can be applying through in order to get a job to teach English abroad. So in the link, I actually attached a guide for people that are interested in applying to teach English abroad, as well as a few videos from some of my favorite creators that are talking about teaching their experiences teaching English abroad, if that's something that you're interested in. And the fifth and last way is to just find a job abroad. So in the description, I have a website with different listings of different open jobs actually in various countries. A really popular thing to do is seasonal jobs. So people will be working once COVID, depending on the COVID situation in different countries, people are looking for people to work in hostels, become camp counselors, become ski instructors, chefs for different things, a lot of hospitality work. There's also just your job may be available abroad. So if you're someone that does marketing, if you're someone that does IT, if you're an engineer, if you are a skilled worker, even if you're doing quote unquote unskilled labor, which is a ridiculous term. I think all labor is skilled labor, but quote unquote unskilled labor is also available abroad as well. So those are also different vacancies that you can be filling abroad if you're just interested in learning what it's like to live abroad and experience that. And so many countries have the opportunity for you to work. So yeah, that's another amazing option. Another option of working abroad is becoming an au pair, which is like not necessarily a paid gig, but it does allow for you to have lounging and pocket money from a family that you may be watching their children for them. So I've linked those jobs in the description below. And another thing people don't think about is actually working on a cruise ship is another job, especially for young people that are just really interested in making some money over the summer or like taking a year gap. Working on a cruise ship is actually also another option for you to make some money while also traveling. So yeah, get a job abroad, get a job abroad. But yeah, so these are 5 ways that you can go abroad, live your best life. And if you have any more questions on specifics, leave them in the comments and I can get back to them. And also, if you're more interested in learning what my life is like here in Vienna, Austria, I have other videos on my channel where you can see, and I'm also just producing more and more content every day so that I can share this experience with you. If you also have any other questions about my life abroad, just generally, just leave them in the comments below. And I'm really excited and happy that you stayed for the entire video.